watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Tuesday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Annalisa Gale. We'll get to those top stories in just a few minutes, but first let's take a look outside with more sunshine here in the DMV today. This is a live look at the Kennedy Center. Looks beautiful outside, Mark.
It is a nice day out there, no question about it. Let's head over to meteorologist Damon Matson with the first look at the forecast. Damon, 2 straight.
2 straight days indeed. Yeah, this is a good streak we're on here. If you want to go back to the weekend, too, we've had these sunny skies for roughly 4 days at this point. Hardly any clouds to be found, and we're thankful for that sun. Trying to make it feel a little more comfortable because we've been holding on to some chillier air. This is where we started out early this morning. With that clear sky, we lose a lot of the heat of the day overnight going into the early morning hours. So many of us woke up to 20s or just slightly above that 30-degree mark, like in D.C., where the low was 33. And then throughout the afternoon, we've had this surge of cooler air that rolled its way in. So temperatures have remained in the mid-40s all throughout the afternoon. This is pretty much where our high temperatures will end up once those official stats come in. But with the sunshine out there, mid-40s feel a little bit more comfortable. If we didn't have that, this would definitely be a downright chilly day. But how about it? High pressure centered just off to our north, but its impact is being felt up and down the East Coast, including right through the heart of the DMV here. So we'll continue to enjoy it as long as it decides to stick around, and it looks like it will for a bit longer here. Clear skies are on tap for the rest of the evening. Of course, as we move beyond sunset here, we'll see those temperature readings drop back down into the 30s and eventually down toward that freezing mark by 10 to 11 o'clock. So some chill is going to hang in the air at least through the night tonight. But as we move on into the second half of the week, could we possibly see 60s before all is said and done? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, this afternoon, we're hearing from Montgomery County's new school superintendent for the first time.
Yeah, that's right. Dr. Monique Felder was appointed as interim superintendent 4 days after former Superintendent Dr. Monifa McKnight stepped away from the job.
And our Randy Bass has been following the story since the very beginning. She's live in Rockville as a new era for the school system begins. Randy.
Yeah, Mark, Annalisa, a busy day here at MCPS headquarters in Rockville, where the board unanimously voted to appoint Dr. Monique Felder to the interim superintendent of schools position. Her first order of business as interim superintendent this afternoon, perhaps one of the most pressing issues facing the school system right now, the scrutiny surrounding the school system's recent handling of employee complaints and allegations.
And that is unanimous.
A new leader facing long-standing problems in MCPS.
And I know that there's much work to be done. I'm very clear about that.
Dr. Monique Felder coming back to MCPS after spending time as a top leader in other school systems, bringing 32 years of experience in the field to the interim role.
22 of those years were spent right here in this district, serving in a variety of roles. Most precious to me is the role of a teacher. I am an educator and will always be one.
Her appointment comes on the heels of controversy. Former Superintendent Dr. Monifa McKnight and the board just decided to go their separate ways on Friday. Over the last several months, MCPS, the Board of Education, and the former superintendent all came under intense scrutiny over the school system's handling and investigation of employee complaints and allegations. This afternoon, Dr. Felder and members of the school board reviewing recommendations from the county's Office of Inspector General report on how to make change moving forward. In her new role, Felder says she wants a clear focus.
It's very important that we reset and ensure a strong emphasis on teaching and learning.
Yeah, and some new protocols are already in place in MCPS. Some of the recommendations Dr. Felder heard today include an ongoing check-in process with the Office of the Inspector General. That would mean the board would have to give them an update every 90 days as to their progress moving forward in this case, along with bringing in experts to help address concerns and provide additional oversight over the school board. Live in Rockville, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Randy, thank you. Well, turning now to the Commonwealth, but first a warning. This information may be disturbing to some. The Virginia legislature is moving closer towards enacting stricter gun laws in the Commonwealth, advancing a number of bills to strengthen gun control. Among the bills cruising through committee, a ban on carrying assault-style firearms in public, manufacturing concealable firearms, and selling items that can be used to make automatic weapons. Now, there's also another bill that would require people purchasing firearms to prove that they've successfully completed a firearm safety course. And lastly, a bill that would require a 5-day waiting period for someone purchasing a gun. Some lawmakers say that this waiting period can save lives.
A lot of times when people want to do harm to themselves or to others, they'll go get a gun and then they'll use the gun on themselves or others the same day or same week. And so if we have this natural cooling off period, it might actually prevent that.
Now, coming up on DC News Now later on, we'll take a closer look at the road ahead for gun safety laws in the Commonwealth. Meanwhile, in the district, a suspect is on the run after robbing a Capital One bank just blocks from the White House. It happened this morning on K Street in Northwest. The suspect was wearing construction clothes, according to police. Now, before entering the bank, that suspect pulled out a gun and stole an unknown amount of cash.
Developing now, a federal appeals court in D.C. rejected former President Donald Trump's argument that he's immune from criminal prosecution in his election interference case. This ruling means the former president can face a trial on charges that he conspired to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Trump's team vowed to appeal, which could postpone the case by weeks or months, particularly if the Supreme Court agrees to take it up.
Well, developing now, D.C.'s crime bill is under debate with members of the city council.
And they really have been under pressure to respond to significant spikes in violent crime and homicides in the nation's capital last year.
Our political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming has been listening in. He's live at the Wilson Building this afternoon. Leonard, will there be a vote, do you think, on this today?
Mark and Elisa, that is the big question. They're having heavy debate right now behind these doors, behind me, over this omnibus crime bill, which Mayor Bowser and others have been pushing. They have been debating issues such as mask wearing or whether DNA testing for people who are charged with felonies is legitimate. And this is something, these amendments that some council members are pushing, is something that could very well weaken this bill. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the Metropolitan Police Department are trying to take a bite out of rising crime in the district. Violent crime was up 39% last year, and there were more homicides in 2023 than there were the past 20 years. Republican members of Congress have criticized the council for being too soft on crime. Councilmember Brooke Pinto, who sponsored the bill, warned of what will happen if council doesn't act.
And so it is not a theory or a out there concern when I say that there is strategy behind every provision in here to protect district interests, not just for this bill, to protect home rule.
There are still several amendments being debated as we speak right now, so we're unsure if this omnibus bill will actually we'll have a vote today. We're unsure at this point, but we will keep you posted going forward. Reporting at the Wilson Building, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
All right, Leonard, thank you. Well, new at 4, the Montgomery County Police Department is expanding its drone program used by first responders. The full program allows MCPD to use drones during emergencies where officers may need overhead surveillance. Now, officials say they've seen a lot of positives from that program in Silver Spring, which is why they chose to expand to Wheaton. They say the drones will never replace officers, but with the staffing shortage the department is currently facing, drones will be helpful.
There has been times where we've been able to get there and help provide information that can determine the appropriate response. So we talk about efficiency of resources. So we've done that. So I think that's helpful with the staffing. But we do have, that's one of the areas, Silver Spring and Wheaton, we have staffing shortages. That's why we're looking at this technology there.
And Montgomery County Police say they're already starting to see some positives from this locations in the county to further expand the program as well.
Well, Metro says there's a few extended closures happening this summer. Starting in June, there will be an extended outage on the Red Line between Fort Totten and Glenmont stations. And that means that both those stations, plus Tacoma, Silver Spring, Forest Glen, and Wheaton, will all be closed. Metro's plan is to build a Purple Line mezzanine at Silver Spring and fix track and upgrade the signaling and train control systems. And there will be bus shuttles will work and as the work will continue. And more work is planned through the summer of 2026. We're going to have those details online at dcnewsnow.com. Just select our local news tab.